Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere not in Cleveland, Ohio, yet still rooting for the Cleveland Browns. My old Odell shirt. My name's Brian Engelman. Today is Saturday, August 9th, 2025. And this here is the Agree to Disagree show here on the New American Media. Wait, what's that? Don't believe me? What show is this?
Hi, this is Eric Metcalf, and you're watching Unhappy Hour.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Thank you all for being here. The Shedeur Sanders era has begun. I did a live draft night, when the pick came in. Dun, 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 dun. And I was like, Shedeur Sanders. I was like, Dylan Gabriel, what? A third-round pick on Dylan Gabriel? I'm still confused why we did that. Anyway. And then Shedeur Sanders, I was like, well, I wanted Will Howard if we were going to go two quarterbacks like Robert Griffin III and Kirk Cousins when the Redskins did that. But I said, all right, whatever. Good. This will hopefully get us closer to finding out. Do we need to move on from Kevin Stefanski, the head coach, and do we need to move on from Andrew Berry, the general manager? Yes or no? Well, you know what? You're getting another chance to get the quarterback thing right since you screwed up the Baker thing. You screwed it up. I don't care. Oh, he had antics. Oh, he was a clown. He made jokes. Okay, top 50 player. Baker Mayfield, top 50 player. Oh, you know what? I think we'd rather get this Deshaun Watson guy. Sir, there's like a million accusations. Yeah, but the same with Cosby and Epstein. It doesn't mean anything. You should have got Deshaun Watson at a bargain basement discount, not giving away 3 first-round picks and however many picks in total, setting our franchise back immensely. That Deshaun Watson, he's looked like garbage since he got here. He had a good half. A perfect half, actually, against the Ravens. But injuries and shoulder and an Achilles, then another Achilles, and it never seemed like he actually understood the playbook. He looked confused. He looked like Jamarcus Russell. He looked like somebody who didn't pay attention or he was incapable of doing it. I don't know if it was because Deshaun Watson is dumb, if they didn't coach him right, if they took him out of his system. I don't know what it was, but, when you bring in a player, what you're supposed to do is play to their strengths. And it never really seemed like the Browns played to the strengths of Deshaun Watson. Regardless, he's gone. He's done. What a huge disaster. Baker Mayfield gets ranked a top 50 player in the NFL. Good for them. I'm proud of them. So, look, it's a new era, and I'm excited for it. So let's kick off the show and talk about it in more detail. All right, hit like and hit subscribe however you are watching. We're here talking Cleveland Browns, everybody. I went out and bought a couple rookie cards. I did that with Baker. I did that with Jose. I do that with players that I like, players that I believe in. And you know what? I saw everything I needed to see. I'm in. I think Shedeur Sanders should be our starting quarterback. I do. The only way you're going to get better is by playing. And the only way you're going to find out what you have with your team is to play the guys. Play them. I know Joe Flacco's solid. I know he can throw it deep. But Shedeur does it too. He had all the right plays. And so I don't care about what competition level. Oh, well, it wasn't Shedeur Sanders competing against the ones. Okay, well, he didn't have his ones on his team either. Throwing touchdowns and perfect passes to nobodies. I'm fine with that. You're going to give him better weapons, and he's going to play better. Oh, but don't worry. Oh, you better beware. Because you know what's going to happen next? He's going to have to play some really tough players. Okay, well, he's going to have better players around him too. And honestly, the only way you get better is by playing. So I'm all in. I want to see Shedeur Sanders start the season. I know he might not have everything fully organized. You don't want to throw him to the wolves. Some people say, "Oh, put him in week what am I hearing? Week 5." I don't buy it. Oh, well, there's so many tough defenses in those first couple of groups. The first couple teams that we play, those groups, those defensive units, they're tough. Yeah, everything's going to be tough. It's the NFL. Skip Bayless says, Shedeur Sanders, who should have been the first pick in the draft, shamed the entire NFL tonight. Yeah, it was preseason. He led 3 touchdown drives, 2 passing touchdowns. You don't discredit that. Here, let me pull up our feed here. Make sure you're following the Unhappy Hour on Instagram. It's kind of weird with football stuff, what they let you show and what they don't. So it's going to be a little tricky here. I got to figure out how I want to deliver this info to you. Maybe super tiny.
Here we go.
They don't like the audio. All right. So they say the debut we've all been waiting for. Okay. Well, I can't even play the audio. It's so stupid. It can barely play the footage. Most watched Browns preseason game ever. I'm going to say Shedeur looks legit. It's time to start him game 1 if the rest of his preseason goes this well. Could anyone disagree with me on that? I'll toss that out there to the group. I'll toss that out there and ask, do you agree or disagree that if the rest of the preseason, 2 more games, goes this well for Shedeur Sanders, he's the game 1 starter? Agree or disagree? Maybe I'm on the bandwagon too quick, but I don't think so. I saw a lot.
Trust his protection right here. Free hitter coming, trust it. But he doesn't panic, and then he whips it for the touchdown.
Did you see that? It was a sidestep. That's pocket presence. Now, I did see him get sacked on one. It was like, oh, geez, how did you miss that? It happens. I'm not looking for perfection. There's no such thing. There's no possible way you could ask for perfection at the quarterback position. What you should ask for is someone that's getting things figured out. And it looked like he was getting some stuff done. The sidestep in the pocket kind of collapsed at the left tackle. He took 1 step in and, zipped it. That's arm strength. That was right across the middle. Was it 10, 15 yards?
That's a great throw.
It was
red zone score. Throw. Like, trust the protection. Don't run out of the pocket. Stay there. That's a nice job.
It was right. Hop, anchor yourself, and
by Shedeur.
This is Baldy NFL. Who is this? Brian Baldinger.
Good job. That's a great throw. Shedeur, trust his protection right here. Free hitter coming, trust.
That was good. I'm sorry, I said left tackle, but that was a blitz off the left side, and the running back did a great job going over there to stop that.
But he doesn't panic, and then he whips it.
Zipped it. reminiscent of John Elway. Unfortunately, that sliding catch from the my goodness, Broncos. The sliding, was it Vance Johnson? The sliding catch to Vance Johnson on the Broncos in the AFC Championship game. It was very reminiscent of that for me. So bravo. Is it time to start Sanders for Cleveland? Actually, I'm not going to ask the question. I'm going to say time to start Sanders for Cleveland button. And leave that as the comment. See how many likes that one gets. All right. Next. You gotta be careful with these clips. Like, I want to show them. I don't know if I can even do the audio. Can I do the audio? Hang on. I'm just so confused what I can share and what I can't. Because we're trying to break down the game footage here. But we kind of, I don't know. I guess if I mute it. Looking, zipping. There's the other angle from it. Sliding across. I mean, it's a great play. Pocket presence, awareness, and he understands the game. Shedeur reaching up to the sky, kind of, saying thank you, like doing a thing. I think afterward, he like apologized to his dad, like for not doing better. So that was interesting. All right. Did we have a comment? There we go. Start Sanders button. I'm all in. I don't know what we're going to gain from letting Joe Flacco play. I don't know what we're going to gain. I mean, we could be a Super Bowl team with Joe Flacco. Everybody thinks, it's very common right now to say, the Browns are going to lose the most games in the NFL. I'm like, based on, I don't know. Based on what? I'm not really ready to agree with that statement. I couldn't possibly agree with it. It's the beginning of the season. You never know how a team is going to gel, how a team's going to stay healthy. You get a bounce goes your way, a kick or a special team. You never know how it's going to play out. And I know the scrutiny on rigging games has never been higher than it is right now. And part of me really understands that there's sort of nothing to see here. That sort of is. What's going on? That is how they're playing things. It just kind of seems like they're letting the games get out of hand. They're letting people rig the games. It seems like Cleveland can't catch a break. It seems like. And on and on and on and on. It seems like the NFL has it in for Cleveland and they will not stop. I don't know what was going on with Shedeur Sanders. Falling as far as he did in the draft. Twice now, it looks like Jimmy Haslam might have bucked what the NFL wanted him to do or wanted him not to do. That might be more important. They didn't want him to draft the Brown. Didn't want him to sign Deshaun Watson, especially a fully guaranteed deal. Are you kidding me? And it seemed like nobody wanted to draft Sanders. So do the Browns have a target on their back? Like we're constantly going to be hunted by the NFL for what? for the crime of demanding we get our team back when it was stolen in 1995. It should have never been taken. That was garbage from the beginning. Do an expansion if you're going to demand that happens. You don't take a team away from Cleveland. You just don't. Oh, okay, here you go. So, Shedeur Sanders being interviewed. He was asked about patience.
I mean, God's patient with us as humans. We mess up at times, but I don't feel like he throw us away as individuals. So it's different things and different life lessons, you got to go through. And I haven't went through this situation, that I'm in ever. So it's really just a test, I feel like from God. I'm just thankful that I was able to see the day of light and get out there and be able to play. So
the day of light? You meant the light of day.
They didn't have to let me play. So anything.
I don't know. Shedeur still strikes me as a little simple. It's all right. I'm rooting for the kid. I'm legit rooting for the kid. I did not have it in for him. I don't care if he tanked a couple of interviews and he didn't interview well, whatever these reports were. I don't care. None of that has anything to do with me. When you get drafted to the Browns, I am rooting for you, man. I root for laundry, and if you're wearing it, I'm in. But I like he's like, they didn't have to let me play. That's true. I'm okay with that. That's a fair point. That's some nice self-awareness there. I'm very okay with that part.
Thing and everything, is good for me. So, I mean, God's patient with us.
God is patient with us. He doesn't throw us away.
As humans, we mess up at times, but I don't feel like he throw us away as individuals. So, all
right. So I like that point. That was pretty cool. All right,
Said it
take care. Who is this? Chef Zay?
a million times, and I'll say it 1,003,452 times if I need to. There's no way you can hate Shedeur Sanders. Tony Grossi, a guy who is known in the Cleveland media for not being a fan favorite, for always being annoying, asking the wrong questions, starting all types of problems. Shedeur Sanders went up to him and straight up had the question for him. Like he's standing on business while keeping it lighthearted, and just this is how leaders or people win over people. I'm so curious to know if this is going to change Tony Grossi's perspective on Shedeur Sanders, and if he does start to say positive things, and maybe starts to like Shedeur Sanders. But it seems as if Shedeur right now can do no wrong. I pray that he continues to walk on this path, because Cleveland has needed a guy like Shedeur. We've had the Nick Chubbs of the world. We've had the Denzel Wards. We've experienced the Myles Garretts of the world, and David Njoku's, and Baker Mayfields, and Jarvis Landry's, but we've never experienced anything quite like Shedeur Sanders, and I'm here for every ounce of it. I've said it a million times, and I'll say it 1,003,450.
All right, fellas, hey, that concludes that block versus Carolina. That compete block, that's it. And guess what? That block that we just got completed with that practice versus them with this game tonight, this football team got better. This football team got better this entire week by stacking these days, by competing versus them out there on the practice field, by competing versus them on the game field. 0 giveaways. Bless. 0 giveaways. All right, fellas, hey, that concludes teams. Buki, takeaway. Oh, yeah, Buki. On defense, Nick, takeaway. Oh, yeah. So that's +2. You win football games when you're +2. That's a hell of a job. We have a ton to learn from this football game, okay? Whether you played this game or not, there's a ton to teach off of. There's a ton to learn from, and we will. And when we're going to learn, we're getting back late tonight. We're back in at 12:15 for a team meeting. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Oh, shout out Browns fans. Shout out for the support. Appreciate y'all for coming out. Appreciate y'all for watching. Dog Pound for life. Let's work towards next week. Let's build this foundation up. Let's keep working. 9-1 out. Oh, shout out Browns. Shout out the fans coming out. Good to get the dub in the hometown. Grew up a Panthers fan, but we got to get the dub today. Shout out the fans coming out. Good.
Really? Really? No sound? Are we for real? Well, thanks for being here, everybody. 30 minutes of no sound. Do I do this all again? That's incredible. Shedeur Sanders era has begun. 32 minutes, 32 seconds. My show has finally begun. When did I go on mute? How long has it been? Is it when I sneezed? I played a clip and I had to press the dump button, they call it. That must have been it. I did start off with sound, right? Okay, I think I did. I think I lost my sound when I did the sneeze. Sorry about that, folks. Welcome. Anyway, welcome back. Thank you all for being here. Got some new faces. Classic man, how are you? Let's get to some of the comments. Shedeur missed some, sure. Did he? He looked perfect to me. Bing, bing, bing. I'm like batting my eyelashes going, all right, I'm all in on another Browns quarterback. No, I'm not quite in love yet. I was a little bit more impressed with Baker's debut, but I'm just about equally impressed with Shedeur Sanders. Almost perfect to me. No stupid interceptions, no stupid fumbles. You can't be reckless and risky. Step one. And man, those 2 touchdown passes were legit NFL passes. He showed the poise. Exactly. He stood up. He felt comfortable. Even, how about that play where he was spinning and then he spun again and then he's rolling around? Dude must have ran 50 yards, 60 yards, 70. I don't know how many yards he covered on that play. I'm sure some analytics geek somewhere on Twitter, maybe you, Classic Man, or Avi Aki, Could look that up on Twitter, see if anybody figured out how many yards Shedeur Sanders ran on that scramble yesterday. But even when he was scrambling for his life, he was cool, calm, collected, composed, didn't throw a stupid interception. I think it was incomplete. No, I think he might have ran, maybe lost a couple yards or maybe gained a couple, almost to the line of scrimmage, something. But he extended a play that should have just been blown up in the backfield. That's huge skill. That's huge talent right there. You either have that stuff or you don't, which is why I'm saying just play the kid. Oh, well, the defenses are too tough. Go after your bye week and then make a switch. Just play the kid. Just play him. He doesn't look rattleable. Now, I know that Mike Tyson said everybody has a plan till you punch in the mouth, in the face. So, yeah, maybe Sanders will get gunshot. Maybe he'll get sacked. Maybe he'll whatever. Play him. You got to determine if you have a potential starting quarterback on your roster. He earned it. I know there's two games to play, but yeah, the poise classic, man, and the IQ and the process of reads was beautiful. Yeah, he knew the playbook. I've never been convinced that Deshaun Watson understood our playbook. Not a single time. I always felt convinced like Baker knew exactly where to go. Now, when he was playing on one shoulder, and if you've ever had a torn labrum, even in your non-throwing shoulder, your life stops. Maybe things ease up for a little bit, but then you grab your groceries or you set your pen down and it rolls off and you reach for it and you re-aggravate and you're, Baker played an entire season like that. And some fans out there, unfortunately, tried to lump his talent stack in with his injury acumen, his injury abilities. So, yeah, Baker was throwing a bunch of interceptions. I mean, he was playing one-handed with one hand tied behind. He wasn't right. But when Baker was healthy, like he said to Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce, when I was healthy, I was getting pretty damn good there. He was. Baker always knew the playbook. Joe Flacco knows the playbook. Yeah, he threw some interceptions in Houston against the Texans in the playoff game, but I think a lot of that was because he got outcoached. He just straight up got outcoached. And I think our offense was telegraphing some stuff that the Texans were able to pick up on and exploit. I think they knew some of our plays, and some of that goes back to coaching. But Joe Flacco is a professional. He knows the playbook. Hell, Jameis knew the playbook. Shedeur looked so comfortable, it made me comfortable making him my week 1 starter. I have no reservations about, you should redshirt him for an entire year. No, he's got it. Let him get game reps at game speed, game footage, game tape. Get some reps. I'm in. Avi Aki, time for New Orleans to make a trade for Sanders. Wait a minute. Why would we let Sanders go? That would never happen. And look, I think the whole thing with Jimmy Haslam, the owner never wanted him. I think that was blown out of proportion. I think the question was a little inarticulate, perhaps. And the answer was a little awkward and bumbly. But, I mean, I don't think they had a plan to take him. And then he was still sitting there and they're like, hey, we're going to put our heads together. And, yeah, we think we should grab him. Let's go. Two chances, 2 darts to throw at quarterback. It's not a Jackson Dart pun, but I like it. I'm glad that we're getting closer to finally figuring out if Stefanski and Barry can be trusted or if they need to go. And it's going to hinge on Shedeur. So I hope they're not too nervous to screw it up by playing him too soon. I don't think that's possible. I just don't think it's possible. But no, I don't think we're trading him for anyone. Yeah, thank you guys in the comments. Like, you're yelling at me, the sound. But I didn't even have the chat segment pulled up. So I'm looking at 3 or 4 different screens. I have different lights in my face. I'm rolling through different tabs. Yeah, I pressed mute for the sneeze, and I was out for a segment or 2. Anyway, thank you guys. Dude, we can't hear you. You're speaking. You're muted. Carlton B, what's up? Muted. Jeffrey Champion, you're muted, dude. Now we can hear you. Jeffrey saying, yeah, Sanders looked really good. He's worried about the slot corner position because I wasn't impressed with Mitchell or Harden. Okay. What about Jamari Thrash? Where are the... Let me pull up the stats for yesterday. Go to the box score. Let me share this tab instead. Thank you guys all for being here. Hit like, hit subscribe on YouTube, Rumble, however you're watching the Unhappy Hour Sports Show here on the New American Media. Let's get to the stats. Is it stats? Am I looking for? I'm probably looking for. Where's the games? Where's the games played? Schedule? All right, let's go to schedule. Carolina. There we go. Box score of the game.
You seeing that?
No, I got check.
I don't like autoplay ads. All right. Man, that one-handed catch was incredible. Caden Davis, 2 touchdowns. What position does he play?
You seeing that?
What is happening?
No, I got check my pads.
Up. Ad. Caden Davis, wide receiver, 89. Number 89. 26 years old. This is his first season. Where the heck did he come from? Caden Davis, 2 touchdowns? Look, if you got a guy that can get open, keep him open. Keep him on your team. Get him reps. Could Caden Davis play the slot? What position was he? I don't know. I get that the 1 is your most versatile, maybe your downfield threat, and your 2 and your, I don't know, your 3s. I don't know. I also kind of just think let ball players be ball players. Put 3 talented wide receivers out and just figure it out. But does Caden Davis play the slot? Let me ask that question. On X. Do you use X for searching? I think it's a very useful tool for refining searches. Does Caden Davis play the slot receiver position for the Cleveland Browns? He's listed as a wide receiver and return specialist, but no definitive evidence that he's a slot receiver. Notable contributions as a kick returner, including 107 yards on 3 kickoffs and his NFL debut in Week 18 of the 24 season. Caught 3 passes for 23 yards, 2 touchdowns. Played college ball at Northwest Missouri State. 44 receptions, 714 yards, 10 touchdowns. Quickness, smaller frame at 6'1", 193, often suited for the slot. Teammate Luke Floria was noted to have taken slot reps in competition for a punt returner's role, suggesting the Browns may use versatile receivers like Davis in similar ways, but that's speculative. Yeah, maybe Caden Davis could be the slot. Jameis Winston, he even looked good last year. I mean, look, you can ball at arm talent. Jameis Winston is a Heisman winner. He has arm talent. Joe Flacco has got a way better arm than I remembered him having when he played all those years in Baltimore. Man, they're slingers. They let it rip. They go vertical. They go downfield for chunk plays. And I think Shedeur Sanders in college, that was his big thing. He had a lot of downfield play, not a lot of dinking, dunking, like going out and getting it. Jeffrey Champion, 37, looked like Jordy Elderman. Hold on. About who? Edelman? Julian Edelman. That's what it is. Yeah. He did. Floria and Caden Davis, like they both looked great. All right, let's go back to the stats real quick here. Jamari Thrash was targeted twice. He had 2 completions for 9 yards. Long catch was for 11. So he's a slot receiver. Cade McDonald, 2 targets, 2 receptions, 11 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, Sal Cannella had the most targets. Number 87 had 4 targets, 3 completions for 32 yards. Luke Floria, 1 reception for 30 yards. He's a wide receiver from Kent State, buddy. He's questionable. He left with a hamstring injury, unfortunately. Doggone it. Luke Floria had a fumble recovery. Was that a fumble and a recovery? And Nathaniel Watson had a fumble recovery. Carson Schweisinger, 4 tackles, or 4 solos, 6 tackles. Gage looked good as well at receiver. Let me scroll back up here. Gage Larvadane. Am I saying that right? Gage Larvadane. These are all new names, people. I'll get to learn them, but I don't have them yet. Gage Larvadane. Whoa, look at that hair. South Carolina. Questionable. He was checked on by trainers by a lower body injury in the 3rd quarter. So, yeah, these players got dinged up, the ones that were making some noise. But Shedeur Sanders, look, 14 of 23, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked twice. Quarterback rating of 106. That's solid. Tyler Huntley came in, 6 completions, 6 for 8, 51 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, 130 quarterback rating. You know, and I know the Panthers are the Panthers. They're not that great, but still, a win is a win, and I will take it. All right, let me scroll through the rest of my sports stories here, and we'll start wrapping this up. Not football story, but hey, what do you think about the gender pay gap for rookie salary season for number 1 draft picks? Look at this. Victor Wembanyama makes $12.1 million in his first season, according to MSNBC. Caitlin Clark, only $76,500. Oh my gosh, that's a gender pay gap, says MSNBC. The comment under here, Vita Sabolks says, all right, so if I play music in a local pub, I should be paid the same amount as what Taylor Swift gets for one of her concerts? Is that how this works? No, that's not how this works. MSNBC, you'll never keep us from laughing. Look, women are half of America. You want to sell out every WNBA game and make it so that there's $12.1 million to give to a first-round pick? All you got to do is buy every ticket and care like all the men care about the professional sports like the NBA. That's all you got to do is do the things we're doing. Can't complain if you're not going to finance it. I love this story. This is so good. I have a couple non-Brown stories mixed in, if you'll bear with me. It is all sports content. Jeffrey Champion. Everyone hit like, hit subscribe. And however you're watching, drop a comment. Tell me where you're watching from. That's the number. Type in the comments. Where are you watching from? What state? What country? We are an international program. I love broadcasting all across this great country and across this world. It's so cool that we get to be the owner of our own radio station. We get to run our own television network. Yeah, I mean, you got to do all of the jobs, and there's 1,000 jobs to do. So I specialize in a few of them. I'd rather outsource a few of them, but here we are. How cool is it that we get to run our own television channel in 2025? Jeffrey Champion says the real MVP is Tyler Huntley, Snoop, for coming in here and playing a preseason game for us. Yeah, and he knows the playbook. He knows the system. We're comfortable with him. So, I mean, are we going to keep 4 quarterbacks? Jeffrey Champion from Ohio. Yes, represent. Yeah, see, look, Jeffrey's a perfect contender. He might want some of these coasters for his bar, the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. $30 for anyone. If they want some, just toss it in our tip jar. The donation links are at the bottom. Just put your address in there. We have circular shapes and Ohio shapes. 4 for $30 or 2 for $50. Add the pin, $75. You get all 3. Shipping included. Yeah, I was not very excited for this Cleveland Browns season. In fact, my college roommate, we're talking like I don't even know if I'm going to make it. Like every year I go up for a game and I'm like, I just don't think I can make it this. I don't know. And now I'm excited again. Hope springs eternal, I suppose. All right. I just love this story. You know, this is the classic depiction of say yes and figure out the how later. Say yes now, figure how later. That's how you get things done. I love this story. This is Pat McAfee.
I've been more scared of my life. I lied to Bill Polian's face, told him I knew how to hold coming out of college. I did not. I had no idea.
What he's saying is, I told him I knew how to hold, and he means holding the snaps, catching, and then holding the snaps for the field goal kicker. So it's like, if we draft you a punter, we want you to also do this so you're versatile on our team. We don't want someone else taking up this roster spot doing this. He's like, oh, yeah, I can do this. He goes, I've never done that at all.
I had no idea how to do it. I had never done it. I kicked in college. He asked me, you know how to hold if we were to draft you to punt, right? And nobody was looking for me to punt. So I was like, absolutely. Yeah, I absolutely know how to do that. And I had never done it in my entire life. So then I get drafted. Vinatieri knows that I was a kicker in college. Mm-hmm. He calls me the day after. He goes, have you ever held before? I'm like, Vinny, I got to tell you this.
I just want to let you know I've never held my life. My heart just went. By
that point, I'd already been drafted. Our first conversation was like a congratulations, and then he was very mad at me. And then he sent me to a holding camp.
I got him a plane ticket. I flew him out to Ken. You're going to stay out there for 4 days. He's going to teach you everything that he knows.
Ken Walter, the guy who held for him in New England. It's like a boot camp with Ken Walter. I stayed.
That's so awesome. And, you know, you learn the skill set. You learn from the best, and you try to level your game up.
His house? Yeah, it was a wild scene. I had blisters on my fingers catching this balls. Vinatieri would come to my room in training camp at night, and he would throw me like 500 balls a night. It was very much like, hey, kid, I built up quite a little legacy here. I'm not going to let you come in here and ruin it because you lied to Bill Polian's face. I'm like, hey, I'm with you, dog.
Your first ever game was a 14-12 win over Jacksonville.
But I'll tell you what, those 2 holds, I might as well have been the Super Bowl game-winning kicks. I was scared out of my mind. I was getting texts from my friends like, hope you do well today. Don't ruin Vinny's career. I'm like, thanks. That means a lot. I've never been more scared.
It's a story about, you know, seizing the opportunity. Take the chance that you get. You only get one shot. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime, yo. The other weird thing about opportunities is sometimes they aren't real opportunities, and sometimes they don't work out, but maybe them not working out actually works out in the long run. It's almost like you can only understand legacy a long time after it's done. You have to look backward to see all of the reverberations, all the butterfly effect, the impact. You got to kind of see it all. You can't really see it when you're in it. Jeff says this goes to show the kickers are people too, and they want to win. I know. I don't know how I feel about that Pat McAfee humanizing kickers. They're just kickers. Yeah, there's running jokes that kickers aren't football players. But hey, you know what, Pat McAfee, he's one of the real football players punting the ball. That's for damn sure. Fake plays and tackles, and yeah, he was one of the best ever, actually. All right, let's see what else we got in the stack. Yeah, you know, I sort of agree on this. And, you know, I do bring my Indians, Cavs, Browns, Buckeye energy to this show, the Unhappy Hour. And I've had LeBron James as the greatest of all time. I think he's the most complete. And you could maybe say greatest, best, most durable. There's a lot of different ways. But yeah, I've had LeBron James as the most complete, all-around, best, greatest of all time basketball player for several years now. Several years, many years. And now he essentially holds most of the major statistical categories, points, and, you know, he's working his way up on assists and rebounds, and it's just an incredible career. But I agree with Greeny here. You know, and that's not to take away from Jordan. Jordan killed my Cavs, and I was not a fan of that, but I actually I liked watching play. They were the best. You know, I loved playing I modeled my game in high school, and we won the intramural championship. I played a role. I hit a 3-pointer. I made a few shots. I think I had 12 points or something. Bunch of rebounds and a lot of banging for rebounds, setting screens, like playing physical, hustling for rebounds. So I watched the Bulls because I liked, I liked Dennis Rodman. I liked the game. So it's not, none of what I'm saying is meant to be a knock on Jordan. It's not intended to be that. I think LeBron's been the GOAT for a while. So I like Greeny's take here.
LeBron James is inarguably one of the handful of greatest players in the history of basketball. And there is like a cottage industry in dumping on LeBron. And for the life of me, I don't understand it.
Now, you can't understand it by saying he sort of jumped into the whole. Now, I do a current events and politics show called the Agree to Disagree Show, or the TNAM Daily Show here on the New American Media. And I get into this topic much more. I'll gently dust upon it for this issue here. But LeBron James specifically, I think he became a part of the Obama doctrine. And it was, the Jussie Smollett, the Bubba Wallace, the getting athletes and actors to be really mouthy, lippy, to get. I have this huge opinion on this story, even though I don't understand the facts of the story. I'm going to misrepresent them to try to gain political points for Team Obama. And LeBron James, nobody's been douchier on that front than LeBron James. Also, with enough people in Cleveland, with all my roots there and the thousands of subscribers to the Unhappy Hour Sports Show from Greater Cleveland. Oh, I know. He is terrible with tipping. You say, oh, that's not an important deal. Yes, it is. Tipping reveals who you are. LeBron's always felt like you're lucky that I'm in your place. No, pal. There's a whole dining industry that I've worked in for a long time as a bartender, a lot of places, a lot of states, many different cities, a ton of different locales. You tip your 20%, bro. And he's always either stiffed him or barely tipped him. So from the tipping to the political grandstanding, it's like, you're not Muhammad Ali, bro. Sit down. You're misrepresenting this Colin Kaepernick story. You're misrepresenting Trayvon Martin. You're he doxed cops in, I believe it was Akron. Some crazy fat girl was going after some skinny fat girl. I think it doesn't matter what the skin color is on any of these people, but since they love to tell this on every chance they get, I think they were all black. I don't remember. But the story is not about skin. Some fat girl was trying to stab another girl, and she got shot by the police. Saved that girl's life. LeBron doxed the cop. Maybe he was white then. Like I said, I don't care about skin color. That was the least important part. A hero cop saved the life of a little girl, and LeBron tried to ruin the life of that cop. The whole BLM, the whole, I can't breathe and all, misrepresenting that case. Like Mike Brown, hands up, don't shoot. It's like that never happened. So LeBron, when Mike Greenberg says, I don't understand, why don't they like LeBron? It's like he's been douchey for 20 years. Throw in, I'm flopping, I'm flailing. Oh, I got to oversell every foul call. It's really whiny. The counter to that is that between Shaquille O'Neal and LeBron James, no two people have ever been fouled more often while the referees pretend they didn't see it. So in order to get the foul calls, you have to oversell it. That is because of the fault of the NBA. I can't put that all on LeBron. So I try to approach LeBron like objectively, and then I also have my personal frustrations with him. As a bartender, you're not going to be tipped. And he'll go for fancy dinners and drop 5, 10, 15 grand on food with him and his crew. Bro, if you don't tip on that, they have to pay taxes on an estimated 18% or 15% of that. You're costing that server. You're stealing from them by not tipping. Hey, man, don't hate the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game. So, yeah, that's why people are frustrated with LeBron. He's a whiny crybaby, is what they say. Although there's reasons, like I'll defend him on that. And he's douchey in politics. I can't stand any of that stuff. But he is the greatest all-around basketball player of all time. Question of the day in the comments. QOTD. Tell me, who is the greatest basketball player of all time? In your estimation, put it in the chat, please. Who is the GOAT? Jeffrey says, SGA took full advantage of the flop. Oh, yeah. I went to Game 7, a viewing party in Indianapolis with my buddy Izzy, who may or may not be on the show very soon, this coming week, I think. And yeah, he called SGA a free throw merchant, a fake MVP. So anyway, but if Greenberg's trying to figure out why people don't like LeBron, I'm telling you why. But The stats don't lie, and his game is the greatest. He has the greatest resume of anybody in NBA history.
I really don't understand it. Let's analyze who LeBron is, all right? LeBron James came directly to the NBA out of high school. He came from a tough neighborhood and a tough background.
He did. And I wish there wasn't random music in the background so that it doesn't get copyright flagged.
But all his friends with him, and those guys are running most of the things in his business, and people said...
All right, I got mute. Said what he's doing. All they've turned out to be is a bunch of brilliant guys running his business. Helped him become a billionaire and have enormously successful businesses for themselves. He's done more in the community than practically any other person in our society in any walk of life has. Never gotten into a whiff of trouble. He's handled himself through ridiculous criticism extraordinarily well, and he's managed to outdo the unrealistic expectations that existed on him as a high school player. If someone wants to find criticism with that guy, they really need to analyze themselves first. I'm going to say solid take. LeBron has clearly been the GOAT for many years now. Most complete basketball player of all time. And I guess for the question of the day, there's a second component. Number one, who do you think is the greatest basketball player of all time? Number two, who do you have on your Mount Rushmore? Who are the top 4 greatest basketball players of all time? I'll put Michael Jordan and LeBron James. They're 1A, 1B. They're almost interchangeable. They're both great for slightly different reasons, but they're both GOATs. I put LeBron 1A, Jordan 1B, and then after that, there's a drop-off. 3 and 4? Whew. I don't even know how to answer that. Jeffrey says, can't be mad at LeBron. Oh, at LeBron. James Harden did the same. Oh, I'm sorry, at SGA. Can't be mad at SGA because James Harden did the same thing and they changed the rules for James Harden. Yeah. Well, Hack-a-Shaq, they sort of changed, like Wilt Chamberlain, they had to change the rules. Like you couldn't live in the paint. You had to get out every 3 seconds because it was ruining the game. He was so dominant. Imagine that. Yeah, right here, Reflog put this out. If you aren't aware, if you scroll back far enough, I did a documentary on Reflog. Chris McNeil, his family, they did the Browns' perfect winless season parade. So go on YouTube and search strictly, what is it called? Football Equals Family, the story of the Cleveland Browns' perfect winless season parade. I got behind-the-scenes access, hanging out with his family, walking the parade route. It's a fun project to document that. Jeffrey would put Kobe on that list. All right, Kobe's on number 3. Who's number 4 on your Mount Rushmore of greatest of all time? But Chris McNeil here put this out. Mood tonight. I don't even know how to say this guy's name. Cephas for the Tribe doing well, and Sanders doing well for the Browns. I'm going to type in the comments. It's a great day to be a Cleveland sports fan. Indeed. Tribe are rallying. Here's Sage Steele talking about her experience at ESPN. It's important. It's important that we know what happened, and it's important that we disconnect from people like ESPN when they turn on us. We can't continue to support them. ABC, ESPN, Disney. Sage Steele did not deserve to be treated the way that she was. It was not okay to punish me, she says.
It wasn't okay to punish me for having an opinion when you are at the same time allowing my coworkers to go on ESPN airwaves. I was doing it on a side podcast on a day off, separating myself from the company because I think that's very important. These are my opinions, not the company. Would never do it on SportsCenter or NFL Live or any other show because you came there for what? To watch football, not to hear my opinions on anything else. And I that was an absolute with me my entire career there. And how am I punished and silenced and suspended? All of the things. But my coworkers are allowed to go on TV during a women's college basketball game in the NCAA tournament and have a moment of silence for the alleged don't say gay bill in the state of Florida? or to talk about how devastated they are that Roe versus Wade got overturned and how youngsters can't get abortions anymore in certain states on a football show or basketball show. Tell me how that's okay. But I can't talk about how I wasn't comfortable with being forced to take a shot on a separate thing while complying with your rules. And that's when I said enough and filed the lawsuit for First Amendment and freedom of speech against Disney and ESPN. It wasn't okay to punish me for having an opinion.
It wasn't. She did not deserve that. Yeah, Gina Carano settled her dispute with Disney, and Sage Steele had to file a suit with ABC, ESPN, Disney. You know, they've been pushing some radical stuff for a very long time. I like Sage Steele. She's all right. Reflog put this up. You saw where he was talking with Tony Grossi? He goes, "What have I ever done to make you... What have I ever done to make you treat me so disrespectfully? What have I ever done to you, Mr. Grossi, to make you treat me so disrespectfully? What have I ever done to you?" It's a great meme. I did like this. This is kind of funny. Steve Nash, one of the best assist players in basketball history, talking to LeBron James, one of the best assist players in NBA history.
What's the most egregious travel you ever got away with?
Me?
Egregious travel.
The most egregious travel I ever got away with. And you know what? The basketball guys was not on my side. The one that comes to my mind right now, I was my second stint with Cleveland playing in Washington. And we were down 1. I got the ball in transition about half court. And I was driving the lane. It's late in the game. I was driving the lane, and I got into the lane, and I traveled.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And I got all the way to the lane and missed the layup.
This is the layup. They didn't call it travel.
They did not call it travel. I blew the layup.
It's because you felt guilty.
I don't know if I felt guilty. It felt weird.
You're
I
just
was
thinking,
like, what
they're
are you
gonna call this?
doing? Like, I had a wide open layup and missed it. It's the same game when I end up tying it, hitting the 3-pointer off the glass.
So they made a bucket.
They made two free throws.
And
then I hit the...
So what do you mean the basketball gods weren't on your side?
Well, I mean...
They came back around.
Because it came back around because I'm true to the game. I missed it. If I would have made it, then, we probably lost the game.
They found a way
they'd have found a way in.
Right.
Basketball guy stayed with me a little bit.
Yeah, he hit that crazy shot at the end of the game.
We're going to pull that clip. So, guys, you know how people be like, LeBron's lying. He doesn't remember that. What is he talking about? That's exactly what happened. That was terrible.
I'd say people don't think LeBron is lying. I think anyone that knows LeBron knows that he's a savant. That dude knows everything. He's got almost perfect. Ronald Lemons, look it up. It actually wasn't a travel. They said, sir, LeBron James, total loser. It took about 14, maybe some say even 15 steps on that drive. I don't get it. Jordan, way better. He said, even Republicans, they buy sneakers too. LeBron James, woke LeBron, doesn't get it, and I don't get him. Definitely not the greatest of all time. Fake news. Thank you, Ronald Lemon. I appreciated that. All right. Let's play you this clip. This is Baker Mayfield talking with Pat McAfee. As the Browns hopefully are moving to some quarterback stability, and I'm still rooting for Baker down in Tampa. Baker Mayfield has now been named the top NFL players list. He's checking in on the top NFL players list. Top 100. He's number 50. He's top 50 in the league. Roberto Shenanigans put this out and said, today's reminder that Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry went into Jimmy Haslam's office and told him, we can't win with this guy.
He's going to be in Cleveland forever. This is the Browns guy. This is his moment. Did you feel a moment in time where you knew maybe this wasn't going to be my forever home?
I think I'm still confused too. I think towards the end there, I was excited to get the surgery, get healthy, and get another shot to try and get back to that 2020 form. That wasn't their plan, and I'm a firm believer everything happens for a reason.
How can we fix the quarterback situation in Cleveland? What is going on, Baker?
Why is there music in the back of this? I thought that was in the back of that clip, and the music's still continuing. The music behind these clips are ruining the content, because if I share this and I get copyright flagged, it's going to limit the distribution reach of your content. Stop adding music behind it.
Listen, I plead the fifth, but I don't know. When I was healthy, I was starting to get pretty damn good there. So.
When I was healthy, I was starting to get pretty damn good there.
There you go. Not my problem anymore.
Not my problem anymore. We miss you, Bake. Oh, all the memories for Baker freaking Mayfield, everyone. But hey, Shedeur's been looking pretty good too. I'm very happy with Shedeur, but I'm going to type in the comments. I'll always root for Baker button. Baker got extended by the Buccaneers this offseason, an extra year added to his contract. Not the mega deal, maybe, that he wants, but, you know, some stability in another year. What does he have? Is he on for 2 years now? 1 year, 2 years? Let me address the question here. My thoughts on Teddy Bridgewater's situation, being suspended because he was trying to help the kids. Yeah, what was the full context of that? He bought him stuff and they said he violated a rule or something. I understand why some of these rules are in place, but I mean, when you're talking, especially when you're talking about like poor kids, and was it just equipment? Here, you're kind of asking for my take. So in order to give the take, I got to make sure I'm going to ask Grok. Let's share this tab instead. Oh, this poor lady. Yeah, that's the Cincinnati lady that was jumped as I'm pulling up the news here on Grok. Yeah, we're an Ohio sports show. We're just a sports show with Ohio-centered theme. So Cincinnati, knocking women out is not a sport. Cincinnati do better. All right. TLDR version of the bullet points of why Teddy Bridgewater got in trouble for donating to kids. I think that's the story. Suspended as the head coach at Miami Northwestern High School for providing impermissible benefits to players, violating Florida High School Athletic Association rules. He solicited donations, posting on Facebook asking for donations to cover team expenses, including $14,000 for a training camp, $9,500 for uniforms, $2,200 weekly for pregame meals, $1,300 weekly for recovery services, $700 weekly for Uber rides, and $300 weekly for field maintenance. Why can't you solicit donations? I mean, what are we even talking about? What's the problem? Personal funding. He spent $70,000 of his own money on these expenses to support players from a tough neighborhood. Where's the problem? FHSAA rule violation, providing material support like meals, transportation, and recovery services considered impermissible benefit under FHSAA rules meant to prevent unfair advantages. Unfair advantages? We're literally talking about the bare fucking essentials. Food, transportation, jersey. What? Unfair advantage? What? Vader says that lady in Cincinnati asked for it. You don't use racial slurs and get away with it here. All right, a couple of points on that. Number one, can you share a video of her using a racial slur? I've never heard that once until you just said that. Number two, no. People don't get to knock somebody out, causing permanent brain damage potentially or death because they don't like a word that's used. no matter how mean and offensive a word it is. We have a First Amendment, and you don't get to punch people that say things you don't like. That's it. You can dislike the lady. Are you legitimately advocating that cold cocking a lady is okay because you didn't like them? Because they said something? Number one, I haven't seen proof, so please show me proof because I haven't seen it. I'm open to it. Every story I will change my opinion on based on the latest current information if it contradicts something I previously said. If there's new information I need to consider, I'm open. She touched him. Do you have a video you can show me? Tag me at American_media_. And the Unhappy Hour on X is at @TheUnhappyHour_. Please tag the video. I've watched several videos. I didn't see anything with her. I'm open to viewing it. Please share it to me. Oh, and if you were there, do you have video? They said there were 100 people around and only one person called 911. It was like a party atmosphere, knocking out white people. It was like, it was really bad. But yeah, you don't use racial slurs and get away with it here. No, look, Dave Chappelle had a skit when keeping it real goes wrong. I mean, do you really want to spend your life in a prison because you couldn't control your emotions and you had to punch somebody that was mean, said something that offended me? I get offended on a daily basis. I can't punch everybody that does it. Yeah, Dave Chappelle had that whole awesome skit about when keeping it real goes wrong. Oh, I'm going to show that motherfucker. They just said something bad about me. Bang! And then a cut scene. And then it shows you behind the bars for the rest of your life. Life sentence when keeping it real goes wrong. But if you're saying she touched somebody, I don't know that you get to knock a woman unconscious, potentially killing her, potentially causing permanent brain damage because you touched somebody. Did she punch somebody? Was she an active threat? A lady? So I'm open. Share it with me. And were you filming there, young Vader? Do you have information? Do you have a video you could share? I'd love to see it. Tag us on X at let me put the tag up here. This is where you can find the New American Media. It has our X feed at American_media_. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen if you want to press pause and share the video. You're saying she hit him, dude. Okay, yeah, I haven't seen that, so I'd love to see that. I was looking around when that story broke, and I didn't see that. But if you could share it, I will gladly take a look. Jeffrey says it was equipment, food rides back and forth between the school and their homes. It's just, yeah, that's a nutty reason to go after someone, to kick Teddy Bridgewater out. A dude going back and doing some good. I don't know. I don't get the benefit to taking out the knees of Teddy Bridgewater, who's helping a football program that needs some help. Yeah, helping him with transportation and food. What else was it with Teddy Bridgewater here? Scrolling. Suspended by the school and FHSAA after his social media post, despite his intent to ensure player safety and access to opportunities. Community backlash, many including NFL players and locals, criticized the suspension, arguing it punishes generosity and limits support for under-resourced kids. So how do I feel about that? How do I feel about that? I don't like that. Programs are, we had a pay for play program, and that's not everybody. It's not easy for everyone to come up with several $100s to just participate in a sport, let alone all the time and all the other expenses you got to get for, I mean, if you're getting donations, like that's what a blessing. So yeah, I'm going to sort of side with him there. I'm going to side with Teddy Bridgewater. All right, let's break down Shedeur here. Let's see the post.
The thing for the Cleveland Browns to do is to make Shedeur Sanders a starting quarterback as soon as possible.
All right, so that's the assertion, and I'm going to ask the group here, do you agree or disagree that the Cleveland Browns should make Shedeur Sanders the starting quarterback as soon as possible? The Browns should make Shedeur the starting quarterback immediately. Agree or disagree? I'm in.
Because when I tell you this was the most hyped preseason game that I've ever seen, I mean it. I live in Dallas, Texas, and I saw more Shedeur Sanders jerseys out than I've saw Dak Prescott jerseys since I've been here.
Shedeur does have one of the highest selling jerseys. I think he was second highest selling jersey in the league last I checked. I bought 2 of his rookie cards today.
And what he did in his first preseason game after being set up to fail.
I don't know if I totally buy the setup to fail thing. Davik says agreed. It's time to make Shedeur the starter. Another comment from Davik. The woman touched the man in an aggressive manner and he retaliated on her. Well, there's an escalation of force situation. Actually, where was that? Remind me, was that a Texas high school? There was that guy, Carmelo Anthony, got offended. The story, and I'm still waiting to see the videotape and see the grand jury testimony and see all of the information in the reports. But the story was allegedly something like that dude, that Carmelo guy at the high school football, it was a high school track meet, I think it was. And he was hanging out under the canopy where all the players keep their personal bags and wallets and keys and everything. And so they said, you can't be here. You got to get out of here. And he took offense to it. So he kept it real. And he stabbed the dude in the heart and ended his life. So now he's going to serve the rest of his life in jail. You can't let people get away with telling you to get away from their backpacks with their keys and their wallets in it, because racism or something. I don't know what the actual full story is on the Carmelo situation. I've heard how it was reported. 2 white teen twins, 1 black murderer. Okay, I understand the demographics. And they're like, oh, no, you can't. You can never tell somebody to not sit here. That's like Rosa Parks. You're like, oh, my God. That is the worst take I've heard on the story imaginable. The worst take imaginable. Have you played basketball, tennis, track and field? I've done all of it. You have bags with your money, with your wallet, your credit cards, your car keys. You don't let randos hang out under your property, under your tent that's your team's property. Yeah, and you tell them, get out of here. Oh, and he took offense to it. Then he kept it real and had to go end the life. What I'm getting at, while I'm acknowledging I don't have all the information in that case either. I've heard how people hyperbolically breathlessly reported the Carmelo killing over and over and over. But we don't have the full case. We don't have the full information. We don't have all of the evidence. I remember going on the deep dive of the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, like that night. I need to see every piece of footage from every angle. My take on the Cincinnati thing sort of changed based on the video that I saw. And my latest one was, if that guy had started a conflict, that's one issue. I didn't see what that girl did, but I'm open to it. Tag me on X. It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Tell me which video I need to watch, and I might change my mind. But yeah, that Carmelo thing was it was an escalation of force. You can't say mean things to me, and then I get to stab you. Like, that's not a thing. Oh, well, she put her hand out, and so he knocked her out. I mean, that is a extreme escalation of force. I don't think that guy felt like his life was in danger if that woman put her hand on him, or you're saying she slapped him or punched him or stabbed him, or what did she do? She just existed, or she was aggressive and had her hand out. Have you ever been around women? Have you ever been at a nightclub? You want to start punching ladies that put their hands in places they're not supposed to? That's not a society. You can't just go cold cocking people in the street. And when you land, when that head bounces off the concrete, it's like American History X biting the curb. Man, you can end a lot of lives if you land the wrong way on a piece of concrete. It's not worth it. The juice is not worth the squeeze on that, in my opinion. But tag me and show me the video. I will gladly watch it, and I'll revise my opinion, because I will revise my opinion on every topic based on current information. Jeffrey here says no, he disagrees with Dadavik. Dadavik says yes, he agrees. Let's make Shedeur Sanders the starter right away. Jeffrey says no, because of how tough the schedule is at the beginning of the year, and there's still stuff he needs to clean up. I hear that point, yet I'll disagree. Every game on the schedule is going to be tough. We have to be tougher. Welcome the competition. I saw Shedeur welcoming the competition. I didn't see him like a deer in headlights once. And that elusive spinning around and rolling out of the pocket, like he was great. Let him cook.
I believe he needs to be second on the depth chart at the minimum. Let Joe Flacco start, and then let Shedeur Sanders start the second half of the season.
I hear that theory. I mean, is it more likely to be that? Yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible it plays out that way. I just don't know why we can't just start him. Oh, he's got plenty to clean up. But he made no unforgivable mistakes yesterday and led 3 touchdown drives. I'll take it. I'll take it until he proves that he's incapable of doing it.
Because he was the 4th quarterback on the depth chart, but then somehow he ends up starting. And then he goes 14 of 23 passing, 2 touchdowns. They got to the red zone 3 times. They got 2 touchdowns and 1 field goal. And I'm not going to lie. Each possession, I took notes. And when you talk about the
just zipping it downfield 20
2 touchdown passes that Shedeur Sanders threw, those were darts. They were darts. And when I was in the restaurant, I told the restaurant it was about 5:45. The game started at 6 o'clock.
It was good pocket presence. He right on that play. He backed up, and then he took off. Like he wasn't. I saw Deshaun Watson. He always looked like, to me, 5th grade recess on the blacktop with a Nerf football or something. And it's like you put the fast kid at quarterback. You go 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. All right. And they just run around and freestyle it. Can't catch up. No, 2 hands down. Up. Can't touch it. Spin it around and then just chucking it downfield like Patrick Mahomes. I always saw Deshaun Watson. That's all he was doing. He wasn't waiting in the pocket. He didn't know what to do in the pocket. He didn't know how to read the defense. He didn't get it. He had to run around and try to improvise. It's like, bro, before you try to organize a stunt where you're hanging off the hood of your car, you have a brick on the accelerator, and you're reaching in the window trying to reach into the steering wheel and steer. Why don't you just stay in the driver's seat and drive the car? The car is the pocket. Stay in the pocket. Go to your home. Are you too good for your home? Why won't you go to your home? Here's another question of the day. Have you watched Happy Gilmore 2? And what did you think? But yeah, that play right there, he held on to the pocket as long as he could. And
here in Texas.
And he's calm. He's taking his time. He's pointing. He's directing. He's a field general already. This dude gets it.
I told them I'm not paying my tab.
That play was incredible. It was sort of clipped out.
Unless you put the Cleveland Browns game on NFL Network. This was the most hyped preseason game.
And that was another touchdown there.
That I have ever seen. And Shedeur Sanders went out there and he was poised and he looked under control and he knew how much this game meant.
You only get so many opportunities. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I get that the schedule's tough and maybe do it halfway. Just why wait? Why wait? Baker Mayfield, why did you start Tyrod Taylor? Come on. He was the number 1 pick. What are you doing? Just play him. Tyrod Taylor, several extra wasted games. What was the point? What was the point?
For the rest of the preseason, I don't want to see Shedeur Sanders under center. I want to see Dylan Gabriel under center the next preseason game for 3 quarters.
I'll tell you what, I'm not against that. Well, I'd maybe want to see Shedeur get some reps. It's tough. Whatever you do, you're going to get criticized. I get it. I'm sort of okay with it. Tony, like everybody's going to criticize everything. No matter what Kevin Stefanski does, it'll be criticized. All the reps should have went to Flacco. He wasn't here last year. No, you can't play Flacco. He's old. No, you can't play Flacco. He's your day 1 starter. No, you got to start Shedeur. No, they're sabotaging his career already. Yeah, the Browns expended draft capital so he can fail. Clever take. I don't know. I don't see it. But yeah, I don't know if I want to see what Dylan Gabriel has for 3 quarters like this. I like what I saw with Shedeur. I want to see some more. Can he replicate it?
The same way that Shedeur Sanders was, so you guys can show us why you drafted him. And then the next game, I want to see Kenny Pickett under center for 3 quarters, and then whoever performs the best, they're a second string quarterback on the depth
And there's Shedeur right at the 2-yard line. That's a pressure
chart, because we know Joe Flacco gonna fuck things up in the middle of the season.
Oh, stop it. He's saying Flacco's going to screw up in the middle of the season. Flacco took us to the playoffs. I was there again in that Jets game when we clinched at night. That was an awesome game. Jeff says can I call you Jeff or is it Jeffrey? Can I call you Jeff? Jeffrey says at the worst, Sanders can be a right-handed Tua.
And then Shedeur Sanders gonna come in.
Here's the one from the end zone.
The way this thing is setting up, he's going to have one of the best opportunities to have a story.
That was a 30-yard throw as the pocket is collapsing.
In the game of football that's going to be heard for years. I love what I saw from Shedeur Sanders in his first preseason game.
Amen. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to leave the comment start Sanders button. Jeffrey, I don't want to see Dylan Gabriel or Kenny Pickett. I sort of don't either. We drafted Dylan Gabriel higher. We should see what I don't really care about Kenny. They think it's going to be a Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield reclamation project. I'm not so convinced. Here's Clay Travis suggesting what President Trump should do with the Washington Redskins.
I put up a tweet. I said that if I were Donald Trump, I would, as a NFL network being allowed to be acquired by ESPN and Disney, which has ripped Trump to the high heavens, and with the Washington Redskins now needing to build a new stadium that's going to cost billions of dollars on federal land. If I were Trump, I would say, hey, shake hands, deal privately, change the name from Commanders back to Redskins. I think this matters. And Trump understands symbolism and how much it matters. And the decision to change team names, whether it was the Cleveland Indians to the Cleveland Guardians or the Washington Redskins to the Washington Commanders, was a woke victory. And I think we have to rename and send a message. They're always going to find something new to be offended by. Kansas City Chiefs, Atlanta Braves, Florida State Seminoles, Notre Dame Fighting Irish,
Chicago Blackhawks, the whatever.
And at some point in time, you have to decide this is it. We are not changing anymore. And in fact, we're going back. This is what Trump has done with the military bases. He understands the impact of the symbolism. I put up a tweet. I said that if I were...
By the way, I had a take on this. I'm curious what you think. Do any of you care about the name changes? Washington Redskins to the Commies and the Indians to the Guardians. Do you have thoughts on the name change? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. You know, I am actually open to something, a bit of a compromise, maybe. Louis Sockalexis broke the Native American, the Indian barrier in Major League Baseball, just like the Cleveland Indians broke the black manager barrier in the American League. Frank Robinson in the 70s was the very first black manager in baseball. Did you know the Cleveland Indians broke the black barrier in the American League? Larry Doby. Right around the same time that other guy who everybody knows. Oh, Jackie Robinson. Oh, Jackie Robinson. And yes, Jackie, you know, sure, of course. Also, Larry Doby. He did it in the other league. That was the Cleveland Indians. And the sports writers from other towns started joking about the Cleveland, I think we're called the Naps after Nap LaJoie, a current player. Or a recent player. Current player? And they, instead of calling them the Cleveland Naps, which they were, it was after the Spiders to the Naps, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm going off memory here. I'm not going to pull it up. But the sports writers from the other towns, oh, Where are you playing? What are you doing after this series? Oh, we're headed over to Cleveland. Oh, you're going to play the Indians? Huh? No, we're playing the Naps. No, the Indians. You heard they got a couple Indians on their team, right? Yeah, you're going to play the Cleveland Indians. And so they were kind of like messing with Cleveland, like in a derogatory way, giving you a little bit of a slur, as it were. Not a slur. They changed it. They're like, all right, since everyone's calling us the Indians, we're going to call ourselves the Indians. And that was popular. The Boston Braves and a whole bunch of teams were calling themselves with Native American influenced logos and mascots and names, monikers. So yeah, the Cleveland Indians have always been a progressive franchise, breaking down barriers. And so the story of Louis Sockalexis being the first Indian to play in baseball, and then you had a team named the Indians and the most awesome logo in Chief Wahoo. Oh my God, he has a red face. Oh my God, he's a cartoon. Shut up. I just can't. It's so agitating. But I actually do have a theory. I have a proposition, perhaps. I want to keep the history of 100 years of the Cleveland Indians. I want to keep the history that we were the first team to let Indians play in baseball. They're called Native Americans. They're called indigenous. Don't you dare call them Indian. Stop it. Oh, you know what? George Carlin, I just saw the clip. I want to play you the George Carlin about this exact topic. George Carlin. Here we go. I'll let George Carlin speak for me, as I've often done.
Divide people, and I think we could probably do with fewer labels, not more. Now, one more group, the Indians. I call them Indians because that's what they are. They're the Indians. There's nothing wrong with the word. First of all, it's important to know that Indian, that word probably does not derive from Columbus believing he had reached India in 1492. India was called Hindustan. More likely, the word derives from Columbus's description of the people he found here. He was an Italian who spoke very poor Spanish, and in his written accounts, he called the Indians una gente in Dios, a people in God. In God, in Dios, Indians. It's a perfectly noble thing. And I simply can't justify this awkward phrase, Native Americans. First of all, they're not natives.
Thank you. They're not native. They're not indigenous. These were roving peoples. They were migratory over the Bering Strait. Is that it? The Bering Strait, Alaska to Russia? A lot of the Indian tribes were from China, Mongol. Yeah, they're not native. Nobody's native to anything. Everybody's moving around. But yeah, when you grant grandiose terms like that, then you get special benefits because you're the chosen people or something, right?
In Dios, Indians. It's a perfectly noble thing. And I simply can't justify this awkward phrase, Native Americans. First of all, they're not natives. They came here from Asia over the Bering Land Bridge. In fact, there are no natives anywhere in the world. Everyone is from somewhere else.
Everyone is from somewhere else. Thank you.
All people are refugees, immigrants, or aliens. If there are natives anywhere, it would have to be people still living in the Great Rift Valley in Africa. So everyone is just visiting. So much for native. As far as calling them Americans is concerned, well, how can I say this? We steal their hemisphere, destroy 500 cultures, kill 20 million, stick the rest of them on the worst land we can find, and then as a special bonus, we name them after ourselves. It's embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. The truth is, most Indians are insulted by the term Native American. The American Indian movement will tell you that. If you wish to please Indians, try calling them by their traditional names, Pawnee, Mohawk, Navajo, Seminole, and so on.
All right. How about that? This is going to autoplay.
Would this make you buy a Ridgewater?
Stop. Okay. Anyway, I have thoughts on that. I want my team back. Jeffrey says, yeah, I don't like it either. Redskins was a tribute to the Native Americans that were there. Yeah. And you can't give in to woke culture. You can't, coincidentally, they're taking scalps. That's what this is. Ha, look, I got one. Put it up on the mantle. Hey, bring me a bag of scalps and I'll pay you $100 a scalp. Well, look, we got rid of the Cleveland Indians. Hey, look, here's another scalp. We got rid of the Washington Redskins. The woke cancel culture mob it's a blob that consumes everything, and you can't reward it. You cannot reward that type of stuff. So I agree with Clay Travis. Bring him back. CJ, Cleveland Indians, he says, I already feel like a brother. They're all like brothers to me.
Your first time around in the big leagues, playing here at this ballpark, the Wind. You everybody's heard of the Windy City. How much did it play on that last play of the game?
CJ Kafis.
Man, yeah. The start of the game, the wind was, howling straight in. Nothing was really making it out there. And then I don't know what happened now. He must have got it good, but yeah, that one kept going.
You seem calm under all of this. Your first week in the big leagues, you're seeing it all. You're in the middle of a pennant race. How do you keep yourself so calm?
Yeah, I think, just my teammates
2 for 4, 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, second consecutive multi-hit game.
having my back has made it so much easier. The guys there, incredible guys. Already feel like, a brother, all brothers to me, really.
Well, you keep hitting doubles, they're going to be a brother for a long time. Swinging the bat, what's been the difference in the big leagues and what you've seen in the minors so far?
Yeah, I think, the biggest difference is just location of pitches. They, see what you're struggling with. They'll keep going back to it. They don't tend to really miss over the middle of the plate.
Your first time around in the big leagues, playing here at this ballpark.
So the Tribe. Oh, I didn't finish my thought about the Tribe. Here's what I demand. Here's my solution, my grand compromise. Number 1, immediately return the team name back to the Cleveland Indians. Immediately. Return Chief Wahoo. Immediately. No, you can maybe have the team name, but not that racist logo. No, Chief Wahoo's coming back. He's our chief. We love our chief. Yeah, it's racist. Why would we love something that what are you saying? You're saying we despise? I don't despise anybody. What are you talking about? Who would make a logo that they despise? We don't despise anyone. You do. Not us. We love our team. It's the best logo in sports. Bring back Chief Wahoo. Bring back the Cleveland Indians. Then, after that, let's go ahead and win the World Series. We've had so many close but no cigar World Series opportunities. 95, 97, 07, 16, and more in between. Holy crap. Close but no cigar. Come back. Bring me the first Cleveland Indians championship in my life. Once that's completed. How about we honor the tradition and the history of this proud, I don't use the word progressive in a positive manner very often. But if you're talking about breaking down the black manager barrier in the American League, the black player barrier in the American League, the Indian player in the American League, or in all of Major League Baseball, yeah, it's a pretty trend-setting organization. I'm okay changing the name to the Tribe. Now, they didn't like that because we don't want to have any Indian cultural significance attached to it. We have to go completely different. We have to completely whitewash any involvement with Indians away. Why? That sounds kind of racist to me, kind of bad. So how about we go with the Cleveland Tribe? We can do Cleveland Guardians throwback jerseys. We can be the Tribe and occasionally wear Chief Wahoo because he's an awesome logo. How about that? I've never heard anyone bring that one up, but I think that's a pretty good compromise, perhaps. Oh, look at that. That was it. I did have this queued up. I didn't need to go find it. I did have it sitting there. Because, yeah, they like to say that the word India. No, it's because Christopher Columbus is a dummy. Don't you know he was a white guy? He was white? Wasn't he from Spain? He's European. Same thing. Equally bad. Bad. Yeah, anything not dark enough is bad. I'm like, what are you talking about? Who's been teaching you and brainwashing you? Who's been indoctrinating you to hate so much, people? But that's ESPN, ABC, Disney for you. Anyway, that was George Carlin. 92.3 The Fan talking about Shedeur.
They're showing patience with this guy. And I get it to some degree. Even though I think Shedeur deserves a little bit more, I get why they want to be patient. They don't want to put him out there too soon. You've talked a lot about that. You subscribe very much to that philosophy. I can understand if they want to do that. That's fine. again, if there's nothing else we learned from this, it's like Shedeur's ready for more. Shedeur absolutely knocked this out of the park, this audition out of the park. And I think everyone is kind of in simpatico on we're going to take this thing one step at a time and see where it kind of gets us.
Shedeur was 5 of 7 for 93 yards and a touchdown on passes 10+ yards down the field. And so if you want to point to any stat, I thought that was something that you can point to. And for you to be out in the red zone and not put field goals out there, but you put touchdowns on the board, I thought that was amazing. I had people in my mentions last night and this morning who openly said, I'm a person that did not want Shedeur Sanders, but he showed me something last night.
They're showing patience with this guy, and I get it to some degree, even though I think Shedeur deserves a little bit more.
He showed him something. Man, am I happy. I'm okay being excited about this. This is interesting. Check this one out. Ted Williams, one of the greatest natural hitters of all time, was retired and giving some tips to the rookies at the Red Sox spring training camp. One of them asked how to tell apart a curveball from a slider when they were coming in. Williams replied, "Oh, that's easy. If it's a curveball, the red spot you see on the ball will be rotating clockwise. If it's a changeup, counterclockwise." They all nodded and thanked him for the tip. One of the rookies turned to the others and whispered, "Now, who the fuck can even see a red spot on a ball coming at you at 95 miles an hour?" Then Ted Williams went on to claim that he could tell exactly where on the seams he hit a baseball. No one believed him. Ted was long retired at this point. Williams took a bat and covered the barrel with pine tar, and they started throwing him some pitches. Ted would hit and say, "Across the seams, between the seams, across one seam," or whatever. They retrieved the balls and found out Williams was right every single time. One of the greatest of all time, Ted Williams. I love that story. Here's an Olympic update.
President Trump signed an executive order to basically make sure inept and incompetent California Democrat leaders can't F up the 2028 Summer Olympics and embarrass our entire nation in front of the world. He's committed the full force of the federal government toward that endeavor, and it's not hard to figure out why. I mean, we want Olympic athletes to jump over hurdles, not needles and human crap. We want Olympic sprinters to run to beat records, not be forced to run for their lives from lawless thugs on the streets. We want a clean and beautiful Olympic village for athletes, not sprawling homeless encampments for druggies and degenerates. It'd also be great if we could prevent LA from burning down by way of wildfires or crazed activists protesting for illegals or Hamas or LGBTQ. We don't want LA or Southern California to embarrass our nation. That's why President Trump has named himself as chair of the task force, to make sure Mayor Karen Dumbass doesn't make us all look bad. What a relief. Oh, and also this.
The United States will not let men steal trophies from women at the 2028 Olympics.
In everything he does,
Bravo.
President Trump puts America first. He loves this country. He's proud of this country. He will not stand idly by as psycho Democrats and their antics embarrass us to the world. It's an incredible honor to host the Olympics, and with President Trump at the helm, America will shine brightly and go for gold. President Trump.
I'm excited for that. I would shudder to think at what Kamala and Karen Bass would have done. And I lived in Los Angeles for quite some time, and I know it's a severely mismanaged area. Desperate need of actual leadership over there. Yeah, I have more confidence that the Olympics will go off well with Trump being involved. Right here, this is just Baldy breaking down the plays. I'm not gonna. I encourage you to go back and watch all of his throws. There's ways to chop it up and find these little segments. Make sure you're following us on Instagram, the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. At the top of the screen, what are they called? Stories or reels or clips or this or that? Or go to the top of the screen, and all those little dots, they're all the stories. You can click on them and watch. This is often what I'll use for show content. Almost like I preload it here, and then I'm going to talk about it on the program. So you get like the heads up by doing it this way. But yeah, on this play, like Shedeur's just pointing and then lets it rip. Like this is just perfect dropping it in a bucket. One-handed catch, just perfection. Really impressed with Shedeur. Go watch his tape. John Heyman here puts out the Yankees are only a half game ahead of the Guardians, who have a third of their payroll, who sold at the deadline, and who have a gambling investigation hanging over 2 of their pitchers, including their star closer. So, no worries there. Back to Shedeur.
There are some people in this world that don't need the perfect situation to produce. And Shedeur Sanders, if he did not check any other box for you, he should have checked that one for you last night.
100%.
That this man do not need to be in a perfect situation. This man is a stewardess. He's faith-driven. He works hard, and he believes.
You call him a stewardess? I don't know what that means.
In himself. When you are somebody that walks around with that level of confidence, with your head held high, and this belief in what you can do, that is energy that galvanizes the troops. That is magnetic energy. And this team, this fan base, and this city can use that. There are some people in this world.
Yeah, I don't think everything needs to be perfect. See, here's the take here from Hova76. They allowed him to fall to the 5th round. They gave him no reps in practice. They had him throwing balls to equipment guys in training camp. The NFL did everything possible to break Shedeur Sanders. He's showing what we already knew. He was the best QB available in the draft. Those are some bold claims. So let me ask you, do you agree or disagree? Not sure about all that, but, we'll see how it plays out. I'm rooting for him. Got nothing against the kid. I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for my team. I root for Laundry. Don't you know? Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the Unhappy Hour Sports Show today. Quick reminder, if you like what we're doing, we're on Patreon at The New American Media, Tip Jars, Venmo, and CashApp Brian Engelman, and PayPal. fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com is the email address to show some love. We're going to be doing a ton of content this season for the Cleveland Browns and for sports in general. So let's go ahead and show you this, because we will be coming back in 2 weeks with Strictly Football with myself and Mike Barra. You might recognize him from the Ancient Aliens shows. He's a Seahawks fan. I'm a Browns fan. And each week we get together and talk about football. We'll probably be joined this season again by Jim Mitchell, who joined us on about half of our episodes last year. He'll probably be back, both of them live from Vegas. So stay tuned and check out some of our previous content. And very excited for that. Like I said, we also do put it up on the screen here. See that? The TNAM Daily Show up in the top right corner of your screen. That is our program. TNAM Daily Show, Monday through Saturday at noon Eastern Time. We unpack all of the news and we try to fix this nation and make it the best nation that we possibly can. All right. To all the first-time viewers, please hit like, please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop some comments. Please go back and watch a couple other episodes. And join the journey. We'll be back again with more content as soon as we have more stuff to talk about. I feel like we could be doing this every day, so we'll see how it shakes out. But until then, I want to thank you all for joining. I appreciate you. I love you. And we will talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace out.